You are tuned in to What a Baltimore Online Radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed are of the host and not of Lady J Media. Thank you and enjoy the show.
I know you do. I know you do, because that's what I do. I give you that kind of love that makes you come back. I'm your pusher, baby. I'm your pusher.
Why do you like this?
Hey, little black boy, let me holler at you for a minute. That I was once in your place. You should respect what I say. Some of the things I'm about to tell you just may save your life in a world where not much is right. Little black boy, you're gonna see and experience all sorts of things, but don't let your mind be locked in the chains. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Spitfire Poetry Shutdown. I am your host, John Hansboro. It is a special episode. Today is Thursday, July the 7th, 2022. I got my family in the house today, the cast and directors of I Am Woke, the stage poetrical experience. We have my sister Shamise Lady Jacobs, Aneski, Anna Kemsit, and Victor CEO. How y'all doing tonight?
We are doing great. Well, I mean, I know I am.
Yeah, me
It's good to see y'all. It's always a pleasure to see y'all, man. I ain't seen y'all in a couple weeks since we did the last show that we just did, which was awesome. I had so much fun throughout that process. It was really it helped me in so many different ways, man. It's crazy because for a minute, I was like stagnant in my writing, and it's like at the right time, Shamise hit me up and was like, "You want to be a part of this?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" And it really helped me to get back in track with my groove. You know what I mean? So I definitely appreciate y'all for y'all professionalism and y'all drive, because this is definitely contagious. Definitely.
Man, we appreciate you, Hansboro, because I'm gonna tell you this for real, John. It was a lot of rehearsals with your level of maturity and how you caught on to changes and stuff so fast, brought everybody else together. You know what I'm saying? You really made, look, man, we ain't gonna let his old butt outshine us, because you just really came in with so much and you had so much to give that we gotta thank you, brother.
Yeah, John was like the first one to memorize all his lines and deliver.
He was the first person.
I'm telling you, the reason people started going off script.
I was about to say, John was the first person to really initiate the improv of it all. Like, he was able to tweak and adjust his poetry and even the dialogue on spot. You know, whatever he picked up on the scene, it just flowed right out, and it was very, very relevant and like inspirational. It was nice to see you up there displaying such acting skills. You know, for someone to say, "Hey,
serious professionalism."
You know.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. And I got a lot of I got a lot of friends who helped me to try to get better at the things I do. Like Woundworks Productions is one. Mama K, shout out to Mama K and everybody at Woundworks, Mama K, Mama Rashida, my sister Shantia Jackson is an alumni that went to BSA with my wife. So I like to this is what I like to do. Like, this is therapy for me. Not only the poetry, but I've done some stage plays before, and being able to jump into another character and try your best to portray what that director wants is therapeutic for me as well. It really do something for me. You know what I mean? So look, Damn, where should we start with this? So look, being from the city that we in, you know, in Baltimore, and we have so much negativity that's exposed, you know, with the school systems and the streets and everything else that's going on, the corruption, but it's nothing that really promotes all the beautiful things that we have going on and the people who are doing things in the community. And you three are definitely three that I know are constantly doing something. Aneski and Vic, tell us a little bit about Four Authors real quick before we get into everything, so that everybody that's watching who may have not have seen the show before know what you guys do.
I was gonna say, yo. They want to cut you off.
I wasn't gonna cut you off, shit. Because to be truthful, my wife started Four Authors, right, as well. She did a vendor, what was called a vendor experience, right, and it was to promote her book. And she had 3 other authors, hence 4 authors, the number 4, and we are literally for the authors. I guarantee we have the lowest price you're going to find, not just for large publishing companies, but even smaller publishing companies like ourselves. We have competitive prices because we want people to be able to get heard and hear and get their words out. And it's hard to do that. And it's very discouraging when you hear someone tell you they want thousands of dollars just to publish your book, no editing, no rewrite. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Four Authors has grown into even more than a publishing company. We promote shows, we promote peace and unity. We try to bring people from different backgrounds together at our events, whereas you don't catch that beef that they talk about in the streets. You can see Blood, Crip, BGF in our event, and all of them show love and support each other. And that's a big thing for us because we're always portrayed as animals. Since slavery, we've been portrayed as animals. It's very important for us to show that people that come from these walks of life, that come from a society and a culture that has been pushing us into negativity, not just us falling into it, they've been pushing us into negativity, that we can still strive and get out of that, that we are strong enough to surmount the insurmountable. You know what I'm saying? And Four Authors, man, like, we want you to be heard, whether you writing urban fiction, espionage, erotica, whatever it is. We want you to get your words out and be able to speak to the people, because we are the people.
Absolutely. I love it. Shamise, talk to me about the RVA project and what you're doing with that.
That's my little baby. The RVA project is, it initially started out as a sponsorship program because I didn't know them and had to self-publish Holiday, and just going through that whole process of writing it, editing it myself, all the countless hours that went into it, all the money that went into it. And at the end of it, I just felt like, damn, this might have been easier if I had a little bit of backup from somebody who had this knowledge and know-how and everything. I ain't know y'all yet, Vic. So the original idea behind it was every artist, no matter what your art was, when you come on board the RVA project, you do what you do. We back you, and a certain percentage of your earnings sponsors the next artist of your choice, if you have one. So after I published Holiday, my first sponsorship was actually my good sis, Lady Glory. I love her. And it still stands. Like, sis, whenever you're ready, I got you on the next, whatever that is. And then it grew into something bigger when I got the call to coach. And so now it's an umbrella of everything: coaching, event planning and coordinating, artist development. I do program coordinating, workshops. Everything falls under the RVA stands for recognize, visualize, actualize. I believe that anything that happens up here with work and faith can be manifested into reality. It could be yours. The vision is real. Right. And we bring it to life.
The vision is definitely real. Yeah. And so many people have vision, but they're not as motivated as they should be to try to reach whatever goal. Some of them don't even know how to set the goal. You know what I mean? They really don't. It's not like it's their fault or anyone else's fault. They just don't know where to start. So with the things that are going on in our community, what do y'all think of some of the things that we could do to combat some of this shit that's going on? Because when you think of Baltimore, we think of it as one place, but a lot of people that's not from here don't think of Baltimore as the place where the seafood is good and, you know, the harbor and things of that nature. You know, the first thing they think of is the wire or something negative. You know what I mean? But we got so many things that are going on in here that's not broadcasted. What do y'all think of some of the ways that we could like change some of the shit that's going on in our community?
Well, for me personally, I think it kind of really starts. I know it's cliche, but at home, honestly. A lot of times I look around and I see so many of our children looking to be like the Steph Currys, the Meek Mills, these figures that seem to be glorified, financially considered wealthy or famous. But the fact of the matter is, the reason why there's such a disconnect is because these type of role models are far-fetched. They are, they really aren't identifiable with the struggle of the truth of the urban child. Most children out here who are striving to be the big one, football, basketball, rapper, all these actors and things, these are considered to be elite role models. The dice of actually obtaining certain things at that level that they're seeing that is being portrayed in media is a bit far-fetched. So I think when we start realizing that we all play a part in being a role model of some sort to our youth, we begin to set better standards for ourselves to live by. We're able to set better examples for them to follow. So they're not, we could say, oh, they want to do what they hear on TV. They want to do what they see in the video games. Well, that's because that's what they are relating to every day. If you're being a better role model and you're making yourself relatable to the future and the youth around you, then they'll have things a little bit more relatable to themselves to reach for. So they don't have this far imagination of what life really is. Mm-hmm. They can see it and touch it within themselves with the people that they see every day. So I think it starts at home with realizing that, the first role models are those that we see every day. Starting getting to the point where we're setting role models in the community more so than looking outside or looking towards social media for role models.
Absolutely. That's a great idea, I believe, because having someone in the community doing something that can motivate you, like seeing that person, if they can do it, I can do it type of attitude and mentality. You know what I mean? Shamise, what do you think about it? Especially with some of our lovely young ladies out here? I always thought that you were such a good role model for some of these young women out here ever since I first met you. What do you think about some of the things we can do?
I think having come from the education system, I agree 1000% with Aneski. I think though, on top of that, there aren't enough programs in the city for the city that are not for profit. You know what I'm saying? When I was coming up, we had Boys and Girls Club. We had so many places we could go to for free after school, on the weekends. There were so many people doing so many things to pour into the youth that didn't cost and was engaging, really engaging. And there are programs now, like you have Beats Not Bullies. You have programs like that, but go look around the city and they've closed all the recreation centers now. And for what? Because those recreation centers are in the areas where they're needed the most. And I think our city doesn't put money where it should be. And I think also a lot of people don't know that Baltimore is a major, major artist hub. We have so many artists here. We have so many artists here that if all of the artists actually pull together, we could create like a great synergy and really like give other artists, the younger artists, even some of the older ones, a safe space to do what they do and give that relief. Because I feel like a lot of the things that are going on in the city right now are happening. People don't have shit to do.
Right.
People are bored and desperate and anxious and depressed and sick and sad, and it's nothing to do with that energy but be destructive. And that how that destructiveness shows up is seemingly murder. It's just that's it.
Right, violence, definitely.
Yeah.
Vic, what do you think, Vic? What about some of these things we could do to keep these brothers from going in and out of prison, and giving them something that's constructive to do? When I was growing up, my father used to always tell me and my brother and my friends. He was a coach of football or whatever, so we played sports, but he was always in my ear about a trade when I was young too. I remember y'all should do a trade. That's why I put that trade in one of my poems, anything with your hands. He was always talking about doing stuff like that. He felt as though if you had some type of skill or trade, you would never have to worry about how you're going to support yourself or your family. You know what I mean? He believed in that wholeheartedly. Vic, what do you think of some of the things that we could do to save some of our brothers, though?
I'm so in tune with what y'all speaking on. I tell a lot of brothers, especially brothers coming from prison, or just, we all know college ain't for everybody. You know, right. I tell them about apprenticeship programs, getting these things where they'll pay you to go to school and learn these trades. You'll get a check while you learn and earn a check. Now, I'm like what my wife say, right? I like for things to start in the home, because one of the problems with our community is we've allowed outside influences to destroy the home influence. Communities are built from families. Families are built from homes. So if the home ain't right, how can the community be right? We have become so predatory against each other. And I ain't even talking about just the gangs, because that's what people try to put out there. Like it's just when people running the streets that's predatory. Everybody know, well, everybody that do know me know, I've been incarcerated, not proud of it. Corniest thing I ever did in my life was going to prison. Now I'm gonna tell you this though. I remember I was at work release, right? And it was a few brothers that was working at a birdseed factory over there by Rockland Industries over on Edison, right? Now the average person working there was clearing $1,000 a week every week. Their bad weeks was $800-900. This isn't like 2009, 2010. There was a case manager that worked at BPRU, the Baltimore Pre-Release Unit. She was actually, now mind you, what people don't understand is when you at work release in prison, you have to pay for that. You pay rent to be in prison. They was charging about $150 a week to be incarcerated, to eat that garbage food. So all this stuff that people think we get a free this and a free that in prison, that's not true. That's the first thing you got to remember. That's New Age slavery. We'll get into that. But my point with that is it was this lady that was a case manager that was trying to get the jail to raise the rent on everybody that worked in a birdseed factory. I quote, she said they make so much money, that little $150 a week don't hurt them. First of all, why would you want them to hurt? These are people who are drug dealers and robbers and addicts, cat burglars and what have you. So if you're giving them something that they could go home and provide for their family and add to the community, why would you try to take that from them and create another hardship so that they sit in your living room or sitting on your corner, stupid? And see, we have this loss. The lady was actually offended at the fact that people from prison was able to come home and get Pell Grants to go to school and get trades or go to college. Stupid. If they don't do that, then what would they do other than revert back to the thing that sent them to prison in the first place? And what happened is, I spoke on your program about this before, about that 13th Amendment. There's so many people around the world, around the country, feels that the 13th Amendment frees slaves. You know, they call Abraham Lincoln the great emancipator, the man who signed the Declaration of Independence and still had slaves. He was not a great emancipator. He was a slave owner himself, and he is quoted as saying that if he could save his country without freeing one slave, he would. Yet we give this man credit for being an emancipator when he was another oppressor. The fact is this, the 13th Amendment, and I'm going to quote it again, It says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist in the United States or its territories, except for the punishment of a crime when one has been duly convicted. So every time people vote for harsher laws and longer prison sentence, you are voting for slavery. It's the only place you can pay a person $1 to work an 8-hour shift. It is illegal to pay somebody that less than minimum wage. But in prison, they get away with it. Now, mind you, the biggest shop in the Maryland State prisons used to be the State Youth Industries. Now, let me tell you how vicious this is, right? Them blankets you see they giving out to the homeless people, they make those in prison. A lot of the desks and furniture you see in school buildings and office buildings and state government buildings are made in prison. You have companies that contract with prisons, McDonald's, Nike, etc., that contract with prisons to send inmates to work. They had a company, a landscaping company of Hagerstown, right? They was paying, their top pay was about $5 or $6 a day. So for one worker's hourly wage, they can hire 3 to 5 people to work the whole day. Do you hear how crazy that is? And people will say, well, you're in prison. What does that have to do with earning work? If you don't train people to be productive citizens, you are training them to be better criminals. Right. It's logic. It's simple logic. So here it goes. We keep pushing for our brothers and sisters to be in prison longer, to be enslaved longer, because we are in fear of each other, instead of showing each other a better way. I see you're hungry, so I'm going to feed you so that you don't have to steal. Right. Now I'm going to teach you how to work so that you can earn for yourself, so that you don't have to sell drugs and rob. This is the mentality we used to have. Now we have this meism going on. So that's why I said that it's not just the people in the streets that are predatory. Because people that are so-called citizens, so-called upright citizens, actually vote to further imprison people, to further criminalize people. You got dispensaries all over the country right now, and it's still people who have on their record possession of marijuana, possession with intent to distribute marijuana. Yet you have dispensaries selling pounds of weed every day.
More than pounds, bro. They selling
right.
It's sick.
But they don't want to go back into the system and take these things off of people's records. When they had prohibition, when prohibition was a thing back in the 1920s. First of all, the cops were drinking their damn selves while they locking people up for liquor.
Right.
But when they repealed prohibition, they freed inmates, those gangsters, the Capones, and all them who were bootleggers were free from prison for their bootlegging when it was deemed to be legal now. Yeah. They ain't doing the same thing with the weed though. Why? Because it's always been about slavery. It's always been about keeping brown people incarcerated, getting free labor to keep the society of working and operating and functioning the way they expected to do. I'm gonna stop because I know somebody should get to speak, and I'm talking forever about shit like this.
But you know what? You're absolutely right, and I'm glad you on that because it helps me to segue right into this awesome poetical experience that we just did, because this is why I Am Woke is so goddamn important to me, and why I think so many people should see this production, because it's so many different elements in it that is like a mirror that you're showing your own people of what we do, and some of the reasons of why we do some of the things we do. And it's incredible. I really believe that not knowing who you are and that not having knowledge is the biggest downfall for us. Where if we don't know, then you know they can keep the wool over your eyes. They can keep it hidden from you. You know, to me, the new thing now is to keep us distracted with ridiculous shit. You know what I mean? Whatever is ridiculous to distract us. And then they put it on social media so we can just look at that crazy shit all day instead of focusing on what your tasks are at hand. You know what I mean?
But you know, it's so easy, I think, for people to accept that knowingly and unknowingly, because to have an understanding and a real knowledge of what's really going on, you have to do something. And people don't want to do something about it.
Right.
They'd rather stay, in the ignorance that is bliss. Not really, but we'll let them have that, because you gotta let them have it. You gotta love people where they at. But
yeah,
it's easier to sit back and not know and not have to do anything, because to know it puts a responsibility on you. You have this knowledge, now you have this information, now you know what's going on. What are you going to do about it? You have to do something about it.
And for me, that was really the seed that was planted in the midst of the vision when I began to put I Am Woke together. And what I wanted was, as if now, a collective of creators and a collective of ministers who could speak and reach out and open the eyes of the people, and shake them up just enough, just wake them up just enough to look in the mirror and say, I might not be able to change the whole world, but I can change something within my world, because each and every one of us that has life has the opportunity and the chance to start just a little ripple. That's all. Just a little ripple in someone else's life that could cause a wave, a positive and productive wave, across the city. And so the way I see it, if I could have 40, 50 people in the audience awaken to something innate to themselves, it's enough to reach out to another 40 or 50 people, the ripple, the wave will be able to take over the hundreds of thousands that is in this city, and might not be able to save every last one, but I can guarantee you that one will be saved, and that's enough for me. Just that, just one. So I agree with John. Look back, Vic and I do it every day. There's an experience in our life that brings us back to a quote in the poem. It's not a day that goes by since this production has performed that we don't see something or something directly happens that we say, that's what that poem was about. See, that's what Marco was talking about. See, that's what Shamise was talking about. That's what we was talking about. That's what John was hitting on. That's why that line of that poem said this right there. And we quoted some funny ones that we go around and they become what is it? It's become a part of our daily
mantra.
But like a mantra.
For like
oh my gosh,
3 days straight, right? We didn't realize, we was talking to Ashley about this. Ashley the poet, shout out to you, little Ashley. We was talking about how much you say the word impossible.
Impossible.
And we didn't realize because every time one of us, we might be talking about our children. We be like, man, tell them something, do something. They act like it's impossible. And the other one would be like, impossible. Impossible. So we walk around doing this. Now, all you know what we quote off of you all the time,
all
Joe.
Day.
Running around.
Yes. Yes. And John, I'm telling you, you don't know how many times people, we just taking the chasing the bag.
Listen, the other day, I had a moving, because we have a moving business too. And I had matter of fact, we did something, it wasn't even a regular job. We went and did something for one of our nieces. And Cena had left a bag in the truck. So when I went to drop the truck off, I say to one of the workers at the U-Haul spot, I say, look, my wife left me out here holding the bag, and the guy died laughing. You'd have thought he'd been at the play. He never seen the play, but when I said that, he was dying laughing. I said, look at me, holding the bag. Listen, he died laughing. He didn't know exactly why it was so funny.
It was impactful. That whole experience before the poetical experience, the experience was impactful. I've hands down met some of my favorite people ever.
Yeah.
And listen, I got some keepers that I am keeping.
You're stuck with us.
Huh?
I said you're stuck with us.
Listen, I ain't mad about that.
You too, Hansboro.
I'm already in there. Y'all know we
you
family.
And your godfather chill over there.
Yeah, y'all know we family. What was that? What was the experience of us doing I Am Woke for y'all though? Like, what did that do for you all as the people who was putting on the production.
Man.
Any one of y'all can go first.
Hey, what's up, Clutch?
Yeah,
Clutch in the house. What's up, Clutch?
Yes, he is. Shout out to the best sound manager, sound director, sound engineer, audio, everything. My guy, DJ Clutch. Man, I say that's his name because that's what he comes through in. A clutch, you hear me?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
How about this? Pivoting out the question you just asked, right? How did it affect? Well, in fact, I'm gonna let my wife go first.
Oh, how did it? You know, the best thing about the experience from I Am Woke is that it is something that is renewed every day. Every day I open my eyes, I'm like, I gotta do that again. You know, the wave that I felt from the audience when they stood up, and when Black Boy Shufa at the end, you know, in the beginning he had them say I am woke 3 times, but at the end when he told the audience to say I am woke, and the chorus that went up, the vibrations was so inspirational because I could feel the messages had went out and were received. And so that's what it did for me. It allowed me to walk in my purpose in such a magnifying way, because if anyone was to ask me now, what was I born to do? It's this. Every day I wake up, it's about this. It's about making sure this happens again and again. The experience in any way that I could bring forth. Me and my husband sit and we brainstorm, and he, oh my gosh, he will never ever grow his hair back fooling with me. I mean, I be tearing his brain down. He just
Listen, I be trying not to frustrate it, you know what I'm saying? Answer too many questions and stuff. But listen,
we gotta make it happen. That's all. It's all about what's next, what we're gonna do next, what's next for everyone. You know, I see everyone moving in their direction, and I'm like, how we gonna make sure that we all stay above this? You know, how we all want to stay afloat. So that's what it's done for me. It's just motivated me to continue to be in my purpose. That's
for me, it solidified some things. For one, on my Leo shit, it solidified my greatness. Because I killed that death scene. I don't care what nobody say. I made death look good.
It only took you 10 minutes to kill it. It's okay.
Listen, but it also but what is also solidified though is when you're doing good things that you'll attract good people. Because literally everybody in that cast, I'm in love with all you people, man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't trade none of y'all for nothing. I wouldn't trade this experience for nothing. And I love the way the fact that what a lot of people don't even know, except for maybe 2 or 3 poems, all these poems were previously written before this idea of coming together for this play was done.
Yeah,
so amazing, this woman right here, I helped a little, but amazing this woman was able to create dialogue through all our poems to make one long story, and it made sense. Down. Code 3, Clutch, code 3. But check this out. It was a brother before Clutch posted something, right? He put on there, I'm paraphrasing the brother, that we got to realize that it's not about the crime. They get to have to fill the prisons up. And I want to pivot off of that. And I Am Woke, we had a prison scene.
Yes, we did.
Matter of fact, we had scenes that led to prison scene and the conditions that bring us to the prison scene, right? There you go, brother, they Eric Shorts. We need to understand the prisons are huge investments these days. It has nothing to do with the crime. We just have to fill them up. You 100% right, bro. Because what a lot of people don't know is a lot of prisons are private owned nowadays anyway.
Right.
And there's a law. There is a law, right? A rule that prisons have to operate at 85% capacity. So that means if you have 1,000 people in there, if you have 849 people, the prison will get fined for not having that population at 85% capacity. Yep. How do you get fined for not having enough prisoners? Now, mind you, check this out. We could even take it back before you get into prison. I remember years ago when Norris was the police commissioner here and O'Malley was mayor. And they interviewed the commissioner after Norris, after he got arrested and went to the Fed. It was a new commissioner. And they asked him, what about the police department having a quota to fill?
Right.
The guy literally says it's not a quota. But if officers don't make a certain amount of arrests, they may get demoted and they might not get promotions that they seek to get. And the reporter looked at him and said, well, isn't that a quota? So if you're telling the police you don't have enough arrests, so you won't get a raise. You don't have enough arrests, so you won't get promotions. So they're not looking for quality arrests. They're not trying to do an investigation. It's not like what y'all see on TV.
Right.
Right.
It's not that a crime happens and then the police go do an investigation and they arrest somebody, you question them and try them. That's not how it works. The crime happens, they immediately put somebody in prison. They don't give a shit if it's the right person or the wrong person. That's why every day, literally, if you look through this country from Maine to Alaska, almost every day, somebody has to get released or is in court trying to get released on a crime that they know they didn't commit. They've made movies about this stuff. It amazes me that with all this evidence in the age of technology we live in, that people still believe that the government doesn't have a big part in the incarceration and the drugs in the community. They have a show called Snowfall.
Right.
They had a movie called Made Man with who was it? Not Johnny Depp. What's the other guy? That do all Mission Impossible.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise plays a pilot who the federal government convinced him to start flying in cocaine and flying weapons down to South America for the Contras.
Mm-hmm.
So they put the drug. They said, "Well, we need the money. How we get the money? We'll use the drugs. Well, who we gonna get the drugs to? Give it to the niggas in the spics in the project." This is their thinking.
Right.
There was literally a politician, and I'm gonna find the information so I can post this shit. It was a politician back when they was going through the marijuana madness shows and movies and all that bullshit. And the guy literally said on the podium publicly, "We have to get rid of this marijuana scourge because it's making good white women have sex with niggers and spics." He is quoted as saying this. I learned this from Montel Williams because he's a big weed advocate because he has MS.
Yeah.
This is where I learned about that from.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, the insane part about it is I could go to the bar, drink all day long, drink till my liver shrivels up. Matter of fact, there's nothing harder to detox off of than alcohol. It's easy to detox from heroin than alcohol.
Right.
In fact, if you go to prison, alcohol is the only drug that they will actually give you specific medication immediately because going cold turkey will kill you. Yet I could drink my lungs, I could drink myself to death. But marijuana, who has no death cause for marijuana. Maybe you was high and you didn't drive right and crashed, but it was never a cause of marijuana. It's not like with this alcohol shit.
Mm-hmm.
People don't OD for smoking marijuana, but people
Right.
die every day from drinking alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll feed me poison all day. I get hurt, get injured, go to the doctors. You'll give me a prescription for Oxycontin and Percocets. But if I say give me a prescription for marijuana, not only do you shut giving that, there's some doctors that will tell you they don't write those prescriptions. You have your jobs that will tell you you can't smoke that weed and work here. But if I take the Oxycontin and get addicted to an opioid and become a heroin addict where y'all cut my prescription and I have no other means to feed that monkey you created other than going to the street and become an addict and lose my job and go to prison, that is okay. This is the society we live in. They've been pushing drugs at us for a long time. Everybody knows the original Coca-Cola had cocaine in it.
That's right.
Come on, now. Let's be realistic here. So the whole time, we as a people in our community, we start to let outsiders, people from out our community, villainize our brothers, our sisters, our fathers, our mothers, our sons and daughters. We have them having fear of it. We are scared of our own people now.
Yeah.
Now, part of it is the people who's in the street, running the streets because we've got reckless. I admit that. This is no justification for crime at all. But let's put it where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
The Chinese have been saying that it's not criminals who commit the crime, it's society that creates the conditions for crimes to be committed.
Exactly.
This does not justify crime. What it is saying, if you create hungry people, somebody is going to steal a piece of bread.
Yeah.
They're not going to starve. They're going to steal a piece of bread. If I'm working 2 or 3 jobs, and my wife is working 2 or 3 jobs, and we live in the hood and paying $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 in rent,
Yeah.
and we still have to get our children to and from school. And now these days, you got to buy supplies to send your children to school. And after we've done paid our rent and paid our bills, there's no money to feed my children. What am I supposed to do? Watch them starve?
Right.
Let's be real. That damn person who creates these laws will watch their children go hungry. But you expect me to, or you would say.
And again, these are things that are everything that is touched on in this conversation is literally displayed on stage with I Am Woke. There is a poem for every topic. The prison scene itself is very, very, very pivotal. I had quite a few people who came and was like, that prison scene was at home because they either had been in prison or had some experience with someone who had been in prison. And these were the things that people didn't talk about when it came to prison. They want to talk about, yeah, well, if you don't you can't do the time, don't commit the crime, but why did I do it?
Yeah.
But why did I do it? What happened here? And it's so easy for people can say, the righteous, this is right and wrong, but am I wrong for doing what I had to do to make sure my child eat? Nobody wants to talk about these things. I worked for the state of Maryland for 10 years. It was about four years in after a couple of raises that I had just received public housing. And I went from making $12 an hour to $14 an hour. And immediately housing felt with $14 an hour that my rent went up to $900. And mind you, we all lived in public housing in the projects. Ain't not that piece of that brick worth no $900 a month when I could put $200 later and move into a home, but with a private landlord or even a property manager, and pay just that amount. So you telling me making $14 an hour plus with 4 dependents overqualified me for adequate housing? It doesn't make sense. So you got people who literally are scared to pursue careers and scared to even get a job because they are so stagnant and stuck on the system. I don't want to lose my food stamps. They took the food stamps from me, and guess what? We still had to eat. Yeah, so you got people who literally choose to live in poverty because they're scared of the struggle. And what we don't understand is that the struggle was set up for us to struggle. Yeah. This was the way of life. This is the way of life that was put to us. There is another way. We just have not been shown it. And a lot of that starts with this right here, communication, talking to our children. They learn so much on the internet, but what information do they need to retain? What information they need to get rid of? We need to make sure we educating our children. I take things back. Aneski and Kemsit means the queen of what life was like. Aneski meaning she belongs to me because I feel like motherhood and nurturement is one of the most very important things in life. And I feel like that's one of the big reasons why our children are falling by the wayside. We got mothers against mothers. We got the same baby father, but I want your child to not like my child because he had his child with you first. I don't get that. I don't understand why our children are growing up feeling like they're enemies when at the end of the day, they are literally brothers and sisters. It doesn't make sense to me. We as the women are going to come together and realize that we are the pillar of the village, that we need to make sure we are encouraging and nurturing and getting our children to love one another more so than want to fight each other. I was at Mount Darman, and this young lady had her daughter, and she kept taking her daughter up and down, and she kept saying, well, whoever it is, because I'm going to slap the shit out of them. I'm going to beat that ass for you. Oh, we standing in line? We can't stand in line because you make me have to slap the shit out of somebody. Oh, he said that? Yeah, I'm going to slap. What are you teaching her? What are you teaching her? Because I can guarantee you that once she gets up as an age, those words are going to turn right around on you. If the minute she get upset or feel like something's out of place, she's going to reach out and slap the shit out you. Because that's what you taught her. You taught her this is the way of life. No, we need to recant all that. All that needs to come back. We need as the women and mothers, we need to start teaching more love, more. When I put a lot of, I was doing this hashtag one time, and it was saying, I take responsibility, because I was looking at the generation before us and what they did, and I was saying to myself, it's something that's missing from the generation before us to the generation that's after us. That's caused, there's things that's just a little wild. And I'm not one for always feeling like everything is about whipping, slapping, smacking, and cracking. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes a simple conversation can solve a lot. And I said, well, that's where the disconnectors come at, because back in the day, the generation before us had no problem with saying any and everything needed to be when it came to discipline. Yep. If they see you acting up in the street, they let you know, hey, You gonna cut that shit out. We ain't having none of that around here. I grew up in a generation, my generation, we look at somebody else's child, the first thing we say is, I ain't gonna say nothing, because I ain't got time to say nobody, mother come out here, oh, they could do whatever they want to do, because I don't want no confrontation. I take responsibility. My bad. I should have been saying something to somebody's child and dealing with what had to been dealt with, because who knows what I said may have been something they never heard before.
Yeah.
So I had started a hashtag one point in time. I was saying our generation need to step up and say, you know what? I don't care what your mother and father say. If your mother got a problem with me giving you some type of good advice or giving you, guiding you, keeping you from, preventing you from stepping in the street when the car coming, then I'd rather have to face your mother and say, hey, guess what? It was the love for me that I had for my people and my generation that had me say what I had to say. Now, anything else in there, we're going to have to do what we got to do. I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, I feel like we got to start taking responsibility in the lacking in the participation that we had in the generation coming up. I really do. I feel like, we need to step up more, say more, and do more in our generation, because we are the influence, we're the disconnect. They've been raising themselves for about 15 years now. They've been raising themselves about 15 years now.
How about this, right? And it's funny it went there in this conversation just yesterday. Going to vacuum out the car, right? And going to vacuum out the car, it was two gentlemen having a conversation. One probably in his 40s, the other guy probably a little bit older, maybe in his 50s, maybe early 60s. And the older gentleman was telling the other guy, the younger guy was saying to him that it's not that we need jobs. We need careers. We need our own businesses, right? The older guy said, well, we got to stop wanting the government to give us everything, ... Now, I'm agree with both of them on that aspect. We do need to stop looking for handouts, but we do need to get what we deserve. They owe us. It's not a handout if you owe me. If you built billions of dollars of wealth off my labor, and then your father dies and passes, you die, pass it to your child. Your child, I never got paid. My descendants. Second, on the corner, the guys in the street, they don't do the streets. Shit. This comes off because I'm sure y'all heard of the Willis syndrome, and I'm sure y'all heard of whether Willie was real or not. It's irrelevant if he was real or not. The mentality is there. The old against the young, the dark against the light, man against woman. Once we get unity in our community, we can stop people from infiltrating us and fucking us up. That's the first problem. Because everybody.
That's what I'm about. That's what I'm about.
I don't have nothing to do with that. If we get that mentality out our head, because we all fight the same monster. We all getting beat down by the same evil. So how the fuck am I saying your problems aren't my problems when we got the same goddamn problems? Let's be sensible here. Because if we're not protecting each other, that means we're subject to be violated by whoever comes in here to violate us.
That's right.
If we would come together, they had a movie back in the day called Warriors. Now, people get stuck on the fact that it was gangs coming together and the violence that happened. What they don't realize is what the guy was quoted as saying. Now, I don't remember the exact numbers, but he was showing how there were a larger numbers of the so-called poor and impoverished people than the elites. So if we come together, how can they stop us? If we start policing ourselves, if we start producing our own shit, how they follow our heritage, buy their clothes, go to Us Clothing, go to loyalty over love.
They gonna be adapting versus next week.
Go to loyalty over love. Yes, my man, 100 Mills. Start supporting your own people. Because I remember when FUBU was trying to get big, and we thought everybody would say, FB, that's that fuck boy clothing. But you went and put a polo horse on. You ain't played polo a damn time in your life. You ain't got no equestrian skills. I ain't knocking polo. I wear polo myself. I like that shit. But you still got to follow our heritage on too, right? How the fuck I'm gonna support somebody outside my community and not support the people in my community?
You so right. What's the name? My man LL Cool J, he helped them brothers. They was from his neighborhood. He helped FUBU to get to where they was at. Definitely. If it wasn't for him, who knows if they would have even went as far as they did. Shamise, talk to us about vibes and verses and the vision for that and where you going with it.
So honestly, initially, we just wanted an open mic. My partner said he wanted an open mic. I had the skill set and the know-how to get that going, and we got it going. It kind of created itself. All I wanted initially was a safe space. I wanted to cultivate a safe space for artists who were up and coming, artists who didn't have the background and longevity and doing what they're doing that I had. So I just wanted a space for people to be able to come and feel good. And it literally is a vibe. And then you know, we get all kinds of artists, which I love. And it goes back to one of the things Vic said. We get all kinds of people who come through there, but the love energy is so heavy that nobody's thinking about anybody's walk. We just in this space.
Yes.
And it's all love. I love on everybody that comes through that door. My friend, that was one of the first things he noticed. Like you just the way you love on people. And I said you have to, because not everybody comes from love. So when they come through these doors, I want them to feel welcomed here and safe here, whatever it is you coming to do. And it's grown into its own thing. Absolutely. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but I know that one night these two folk had came through the doors, you know, and then I had connected them with you, and now I have a whole team, because you can't do it by yourself. But one thing about me, I'm a praying woman. I'm a praying woman. I'm a praying woman. I'm a praying woman. And when you pray to be covered, and you put the covering that I have, I'm blessed, y'all. Y'all don't know I love y'all to life. So it had one host, and now it has several. And I can't say where it's going because it's still growing.
Absolutely.
I don't know what's happening, but I know next week it's gonna be lit, because the DM's going crazy already. I love my vendors. We have regulars who come through, which I also wanted to create a space for my vendors, because I think that's important. I think when you do events like that, people don't really consider the vendors. It's like, it's nice to have them here, but I look at it like it's nice that they have a place they know that they can come to every other week,
right?
Possibly make some money, right? And we get to keep the black dollar circulating, and they get to have a good time. So they've gotten fed. Spiritually, financially, they kind of tightened up a little bit, maybe, it's an everybody space. It's an everybody space. Shout out to C for opening up his space, because I don't even think he expected getting what he got. Oh, they gone. They gotta come back.
That's all right.
It's a family vibe. You know that conversation we had yesterday. Easy fix. Easy fix. I'm never going to be at a table where mine not good. We easy fix. Yeah. So
the table.
The table. That's right. The table. The table.
But, I love it.
I'm telling you, every time we come up there for Vibe Versus, man, I love the energy. Like, look, that the corner table. You know what I'm saying? When you're touring up people's at the corner table, that's my corner right there. I love them. Everybody bring with them. Yes. The brother Decent that started popping up, man. The brother, man, his energy. But this is what I love about our circle, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Kim real quick. He has fitness classes at C Rose.
Yeah.
Definitely a regular. Definitely
shout out to that sister. Yeah.
Definitely.
Our circle though, Ashley, Jasmine, Gio, me, my wife, BT Pooh, Marco, Hansboro, our children, Mozart. First of all, it was a blessing to watch Ashley and Mozart come out their shell, because when they blossom something beautiful.
I love it. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck roses, they violets. Orchids. Now the whole time, right? I'm watching how circle. Nobody has no jealousy about each other.
Right.
Everybody is seriously, genuinely fans of each other. In fact, Gio, man, we working on a park on I shouldn't put this out there.
No, you can talk. He can talk about it. We can talk about
it. Okay. Web search. Baltimore Bad Day. Me and the wife was two of the first casting for this thing. I'm telling you, the energy there, though. We went for a table read yesterday. There was actors that were in what's it called? Baltimore Heat.
Baltimore Heat. No, Project Heat.
Project Heat. People from The Wire. What was the other show?
We Run the City.
We Run the City. It's a brother in there to pay the Marvin Gaye story. He paid the young Marvin Gaye in there. I'm talking about the people that's there, the energy, the cast that's there. It's like everybody, ourselves individually, are amazing to have our own amazing units. Then we come together. It's like some Voltron shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody take turns forming the head though around here.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we come together and bring something. It's like for us to not do something amazing is an impossibility. The only way for something amazing not to happen is if we lay the fuck down.
Yeah.
That's it. So for one, come out, y'all who missed the first I Am Woke. Stay tuned because we about to do a recap. No, fuck a recap. We doing an encore. We gonna make a dinner theater with this. Baltimore Man Daniels coming out on TV. Watch the acting skills. Y'all go see Victor CEO do some other shit y'all ain't know he can do. My wife, we're working on the edits for my book right now. White Collar, Money Don't Grow on Trees. We gonna have that published soon. We about to finish the rest of the rest of the illustrations done for a children's book's coming from one of our authors. God Won't Talk to Me. Or was it God?
God Won't Answer.
Excuse me, God Won't Answer Me. It's a children's book. Our children's books are all ABCs with Little Black Sheep, Colors with Little Black Sheep, Count with Little Black Sheep. Catch that on Amazon. Our author, Lover X Reed, they're doing wonders with Drowning. Check it out. That's the eroticas for the couples. Get together, read it with your wife.
It's not just for the couples. It's not just for the couples.
If you single, read it to get some ideas. If you a couple, read it to get some ideas. If you married, read it to get some ideas. But we all out here working. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's doing something, and everybody got something to promote, to push. Everybody got something to get behind. And the whole time, that's a big thing about Full Authors. We about telling our story. You know what I'm saying? Giving voices to the voiceless, because the fact of the matter is, we the only ones who's going to tell our story correctly.
That's right.
Every time we let somebody else tell our story, it's a fault. They got this movie, right, called Gods of Egypt. And it had Russell Crowe playing one of the gods in there, right? Now, mind you, this is in Egypt. Every god except for one was a European. Only the scribe was a brother. How you got gods in Egypt and ain't nobody, none of the gods got brown skin? None of the pharaohs have brown skin. They're always gonna mistell our stories.
And Egypt is originally known as Kemsit, or the dark ones, the darker ones.
How about that?
The country itself.
Let's get back to that. Let's get back to the fact of that. The original name for Egypt was Kemet. They were the Kemitites. The
Kemitites.
Let's get back to this, right? How about this? We have been renamed so much, we have lost our old names. All we have is monikers now. That's all we have is monikers. And if you tell somebody who they really were, they have a hard time believing. Because we believe now that we're niggers.
Yeah.
We believe now that we colored folk. We believe this bullshit that has no connection to any type of nationality. You cannot have a nationality without a nation, because a nation is a country. There was no country called black. There was no country called Africa America. These things are false. They teach us this and we take it. Matter of fact, every 10 years we do the census, right?
That's right.
They count us, they group us together and they separate us. Listen, how about that? Now,
400 years.
Listen, this is the Now hear this though, right? The last time y'all did the census, right? Do y'all remember on our line it said color? It said black, African American, or Negro. Check here. First of all, the word "or" automatically means that there's a choice. That you're not all these things. But how the hell do we claim all these names? Black, African American, Negro. What the fuck is a black African American Negro? So the whole time, yeah, there's a nigga in every culture trust you. I get that, brother, but we ain't talking about that. We talking about the fact that we have claimed these names for ourselves. Think about this, right? Nigga's the only word that you can say that you can use as a term of endearment or to strike a brother down. If I say nigga, I'll fuck you up, you're gonna take that as an act of aggression. But if I say, yo, that's my nigga, you take that as an act of endearment. Name me another word that you can use that for. You can't go, friend, I'll fuck you up. Buddy, I'm gonna kick your ass. Nobody would take that seriously.
Right.
Because you cannot think of a term of endearment and use it in a derogatory manner. But we have embraced this because we say we taking ownership of this. That's the bullshit they teach us, yo. They teach us to accept less than.
Yeah.
When you start accepting less than, my homeboys, my wife would tell you, I don't tell nobody not to say the word. That's your business. I use the word when making points. I don't call, and it's 2022, in 15 years, I haven't called anybody a nigga or responded to being called a nigga. I refuse to. I'm not telling you not to. You do what you want. However, whatever vernacular you want to use, who the hell am I to judge on that? But I've had people offended because I refuse to accept being called a nigga. That my homeboys in my circle, they always nigga this, nigga that. But when they talk to me and when I'm around, they, hey, what's up, my G? And understand when I say my G, I don't mean gangster. I mean my God. Because we gods. Look at Psalms 82. It says, verily, each one of you are gods, but you shall live like men and fall as the princes do. Arise, O gods, and judge justly. So don't think that I'm quoting that. Don't be, he on that Muslim shit. No, read your Bible. It's in the Holy Bible. Read that. So the whole time, when I go to my brother and I say, what's up, King? When I go to my brother and say, hey, brother. When I go to my sister and I say, what's up, Queen? What's up, sister? It's real easy to kill niggas. That's one of the reasons the crime rate is higher in our community. Trust me. It's way easier to kill a nigga than to kill a brother you call king.
That's right.
Than to kill a man that you call your brother. It's way easier to kill that nigga than it is to kill my brother.
Say so.
People don't understand the importance of a vocabulary.
That's right.
Y'all watch the movies about witches and witchcraft, and all words are spelled. Understand that. If you tell a little girl she's 2-3 years old and every time she spell a mess something up, and you tell the mother's like, this stupid little bitch, or that little boy who never met his father, but his mother keeps saying, you just like your no good ass father. You just like that nigga. And then this child is grown up to be just like that nigga.
Right.
Selling drugs, shooting people, robbing, in and out of prison. Because you have manifested with the spells of your words. But if you tell that child, my daughter's 16 years old now, right? I remember when she was in elementary school, the nurse called me to pick my child up from school because she wasn't feeling well. And the nurse came out holding my daughter in her arms. She was about 5 years old, young. And she said, your daughter's amazing. I don't know what you teaching this guy. I say, what happened? She said, I asked her what her name is. And she said, tell your father what you told me. My daughter looked at me and said, I told her, the princess, you can't tell her nothing no different. This was a 5-year-old child that knew you wouldn't go talk to her or call her anything less. I call her princess because that's who she is.
Right.
My sons, not just my biological children, the children through my marriage, and the children that I have claimed in my heart, all of them will tell you how I treat them. These, your babies, they love me. They love me. And they do not like people. I can attest they do not like people, but they love Uncle Vic. You know why? Because one thing, I believe in the manifestation of words. If we teach each other right from start, we think it's an innocent thing to just call people niggas all the time. If you keep telling the child they a nigga, what else they gonna act like but a nigga?
Right.
But if you tell them, hey, young prince, hey, young boy, hey, young man. My aunt, I have an aunt, my aunt Beverly, I love her to death. I hope she's watching this. This is one of the closest people to me in my life. One of the people I hold dearest to me. Has taught me a lot. And we were children. She used to say sir and ma'am to us. Hey, Aunt Beverly, I'm thirsty. Yes, sir? I need a drink. Okay, go get you a drink, sir. Hey, Aunt Beverly, yes, ma'am? And I giggled as a child because it tickled me to have an adult calling me sir. But I never forgot how it made me feel. Even incarceration, I would walk past and say, pardon me, gentlemen. Excuse me, sirs. And people would look like, what the fuck is going on? I've actually had people say to me, why'd you call me sir? Why'd you say gentlemen? And I say, you don't think you deserve to receive that type of respect? You don't think you deserve to be served? And it changes the way people perceive things. You can think I'm strange. You cannot get what I'm saying out of my mouth. That's fine. I would still plant my seeds.
Right.
But I know that the way I was treated, the demeanor that came even from correctional officers has been different when they heard me speak. When I came from a sociological and an intelligent manner, the question would always come, the fuck is you doing in prison, brother? You ain't supposed to be here. But we got to teach each other that. I see Hansboro all the time. Hansboro. I speak to that man and call him by his name for a reason. That man is a king and a god. He deserves to be recognized.
Yeah.
My cousin is David for my sister. What I say to you every time I see you, DC Pool, that's my baby. Because I have to let her know that that's where that love comes from.
Yeah.
So when we talk to each other, if you speak to a person and you can't put a smile on their face, then what are you putting in their head?
Yeah.
What are you saying that makes a person not feel good? People should come up. My mother taught me young, right? If you live your life and you have a benefit to no one, you have wasted your time. My mother taught me that a long time ago. And there's this book, and I'm gonna shut the fuck up for a second after this. It's called The Celestine Prophecy, right? And the Celestine Prophecy, it talks about a prophecy, and you receive each part of the book when you're prepared to.
Yep.
The guy looked for the book for years and never found it. When he finally found it, he only found the first part. And at one point in time, he ended up incarcerated. He's like, why am I incarcerated? It was because it took going to jail to talk to the person for him to find the next part. Now I say that
Dang. The devil always working. So, Miss, talk to us about how we can follow you and get your books as well.
Real quick, I wanted to address something that Eric said because it keeps jumping out at me. He said a while ago that all he can say is that the arguments are great, but we have to police ourselves as Black people. And what I always have been a firm believer in, which is one of my mottos, is I lead with love. Everything I do with all heart, all soul, and good spirit. I don't even engage it. If I can't come in the right spirit, I ain't coming. But as far as policing ourselves, we have to learn to lead with love. Make sure you have the knowledge and not operate out of fear.
Right.
If we continue to operate out of fear, we are just as bad as the ones who are supposed to be policing and can't do it properly. They're moving and operating out of fear. We can't afford
this. Was talking about that earlier.
I think it has to be. You got to know thyself. Until you know who you are, you understand who you are, you're going to continue to operate out of fear. And right now, in our community, as much knowledge as there is out there, and as easily accessible as it is, you have people who they don't know, not for lack of access, they don't know for lack of concern because they don't understand why they need to be concerned. So you know that, Eric. I hope that you are one of those people who are pouring into the community and not operating out of fear and planting the seeds that are going to be needed in order for us to one day all be able to govern ourselves accordingly.
Absolutely. Shout out to Eric. Appreciate you for watching. Shout out to him. Appreciate you, Eric, and everybody else for watching. Vic, before we get out of here, Vic, talk that shit for me for a minute before we get out of here.
You want me just talk some shit or some spoken word shit?
Talk your shit. Whatever come up the top of the dome. You know what you do.
All right. I'm gonna say this, right? First of all, I'm gonna say this real quick, right?
August 17th.
Yeah. I got that, baby. First of all, right, I want us to stop looking at each other as enemies, man. We doing this in our relationships. I'm talking about husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. We act like love a battlefield, like we got a war with each other.
Yeah.
We keep competing with each other instead of leading each other. It's crazy, right? So there's a law of nature. Those who refuse to rule themselves will be ruled. This is a law of nature. Someone has to govern. So if we learn to govern ourselves, yo, we wouldn't have the need for so many people outside our community coming telling us what to do and how we supposed to live when they don't understand what's going on in the first place. Now, another thing we need to stop doing is stop focusing on our differences. This brother worrying, I don't want to talk to him because he's Christian. Oh, that's one of them Muslims. Oh, that's a Jehovah's Witness. Fuck all that. You go down there in Little Italy and mess with them people if you want to. I guarantee they're not going to argue about who's Catholic or who's Protestant. They're going to trash you for fucking with somebody in their community. If we can learn to unite and we can lead, BC, you said it, lead with love.
Yeah,
lead with love. What the fuck is you doing hating yourself? Because every time you show hate to your brothers and sisters, you hate yourself. That's self-annihilation. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? So let me say this real quick, right? I'm going to give y'all a little something real quick, right? See, they seem to believe that love is something that comes from above. They seem to believe that you have to look outside and not within. when the greatest sin that can be committed by women and men is lacking knowledge of self. When you don't know thyself, you don't create wealth, you don't build, you don't create God's queens, kings in your community. So check this out, right? The first step is to first learn to truly love yourself. It's impossible to love others when you don't love yourself. And most people feel they love themselves and they really don't. How can you love yourself, right? When you hate the people that look just like you. When you hate what comes from you. What you hate when you come from. So we have to learn that it is our responsibility to be fathers, even if the child isn't yours. To be mothers, even if the child isn't yours. To be a brother to your brothers when you see them, man. Stop focusing on taking from each other. I was speaking about before I dropped the phone by mistake the Celestine prophecy, right? One of the greatest morals of the story was if we all competed in giving to each other instead of taking from each other, how could anybody go without? If Shamise is hungry and I feed her, Hansboro needs shelter, so she builds him a house. I need clothing, so Hansboro gives me the wool and the material, makes me clothes. She ate, he sheltered, I'm clothed. Who the fuck is in need? So if we learn that, stop thinking that people can take advantage of it. First of all, my understanding of God is different than most people. That's irrelevant. I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, Jew, Jehovah's Witness, whatever the fuck you doing. If you believe in God, then you are pulling from an unlimited source. How the fuck can anybody take advantage of you? How can you ever run out of anything if you're pulling from an unlimited source? You so worried about somebody taking advantage of you, you've forgotten how to give. See, we used to operate off a barter system. People were given jobs and responsibilities in the community. There was a group of people whose job was to build homes. It was a group of people whose job was to grow food. It was a group of people whose jobs was to raise and teach the children. So the community grew strong because everybody contributed to the community. If we learn to contribute to the community, instead of trying to take from each other so much, our wealth will be boundless. We have the biggest spending power in the United States. Yes, we are the poorest people. I get that. But check out who spends the most. We spend billions upon billions a year, but we invest only a few mil. So if we don't invest into ourselves, why are we surprised that our oppressors haven't given us shit when we refuse to give to ourselves? Now, this is what I want to say before I stop so everybody's going to say what they want to say. August 17th, I Am Woke. We'll be over. What's the address, baby?
1101 Fillmore Street.
1101 Fillmore Street. Follow the pages. Follow Hansboro page. Follow Shamise page. Follow Marco page. Follow Brother Gio page. Jasmine, Ashley, Mosa. Follow 4 authors. You will see the dates. We always have some more stuff coming, man. And we for the community. So if you're doing anything out there, you try to help build your community, a community clean up, call us. We'll be there. Ask the Nature Project. Ask Hitty the Stoner. We'll be there. If y'all have some business for the youth, we got youth out here that's trying to build stuff. Artists, performers, dancers, vendors, all that. We're trying to bring our community together, bridge that gap, man. I was telling y'all about the 2 men stepping to the store. It hurt me that the older man feel like we were hopeless. Because if you feel that we are hopeless, how the hell can we have hope? If the community feels hope. So I want everybody listening to this and that watch this podcast and follow everybody. Never lose sight of hope, yo. Because without hope and faith, I don't give a fuck what your faith in. Jehovah, Jah, Jesus, Allah, even if it's faith in yourself. Without faith, man, you won't be able to progress, move forward, or build nothing. So if we learn to have hope and faith in each other and find the good in each other and stop looking for the bad. Stop looking for someone to take advantage of. Stop looking for someone to try to swindle you. Start looking for the good in each other, man, and watch how strong our communities will build. And watch how to stop all infiltration. I guarantee that. I love my people. I love y'all. I love the shit out of y'all, man. I'm so happy. And I'm honored, Hansboro, that you done had me on here multiple times. I'm honored. I am deeply honored.
You are there with me now, Vic.
You should have told me that. I'm gonna try to beat down.
Hey man, I appreciate y'all for coming on. I love y'all. Y'all always stay safe out there. Like I always say, if you want to be blessed, you have to bless somebody else. Y'all stay tuned next week. I got the brother Adiza gonna be on here next week, y'all. I got Adiza on next week.
Adisa, say the brother name right. Adisa.
Yeah. Yo, that shit's gonna be off the hook. I cannot wait. That's a talented brother right there.
Yeah.
So I definitely can't wait for that. I appreciate y'all. Y'all heard it here, August 17th. Look out for the next show that we're doing at the Fillmore. You don't want to miss the I Am Woke movement once it starts. I'm telling you, you wanna feel that vibe. And every second and fourth Thursday, come and holler at us at Vibes and Verses at C Roses, 4000 Coolidge Avenue. And come and feel that vibe as well. You know what I mean? You won't be disappointed.
And keep your eyes and ears open for that Baltimore Bandeo. It's coming soon.
Yes. Shout out to our brother Gio in that project. I hope he does well with that, man. That's a talented brother. That's my guy right there. He all emotion. I love it. That's my Tars brother right there. Shout out to him for that project that he's doing, man. Y'all be safe out here. I love y'all. And I'll see you back.
That's right.
Love y'all too.
Love y'all too.
All right. Y'all be safe.
All right.
You want to be blessed? You got to bless.
I know you do. I know you do, because that's what I do. I give you that kind of love that makes you come back. I'm your pusher, baby. You're a pusher.
Why do you like this?
Hey, little black boy, let me holler at you for a minute. I was once in your place, you should respect what I say. Some of the things I'm about to tell you just may save your life in a world where not much is right. Little black boy, you're gonna see and experience all sorts of things, but don't let your mind be locked in a chain.
Thanks for tuning in to What Up Baltimore Online Radio.